Hi, my name is Kev Bayliss, designer or redesigner of Donkey Kong, designer of Diddy Kong, Jago, Enderkuchen, and Whizpig. You can't beat me! But what you want to do is subscribe to NerdCage, the YouTube channel. Just go there, subscribe, because you know it makes sense. And that's that.
Back on Resident Evil, real quick. Before we get to the games, actually, I want to start with the movies. Because some Resident Evil fans are really divided on the movies. Me and Joe, we absolutely defend the Paul Anderson films. We will not defend Welcome to Raccoon City at all.
No.
But what are your feelings, your general feelings towards the movies? And we do have... Now, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Barbarian, which it's really good, by the way. But the director of Barbarian, Zach Kreger, is directing a reboot of Resident Evil, rumored to be based off of Resident Evil 0. So, but what are your thoughts on the Anderson films and the short-lived TV series and the terrible Raccoon City movie? And what are you hoping for a new movie? So go ahead, just spill your guts on everything Resident Evil movies.
So I haven't seen the 2000s Resident Evil films since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much have no recollection of them. I watched them with my parents, just because my parents are also really into sci-fi. My mom in particular is a huge nerd. That's kind of like where I got all this from. I watched bits and pieces of... Are you talking about the Netflix show?
Yeah, I didn't see it. Joe did, but I didn't.
Oh yeah, the Netflix show was atrocious. It was good if you took the Resident Evil name off of it, it could have been okay. But when you know the games versus the show, it's just horrible the way with what they did to it.
Some of my best friends at the time, one of them watched it. So I would pop in. He was watching in the living room, so I'd pop in and out, and just every bit I saw, I didn't care for it. I'll be honest. I watched bits and pieces of Welcome to Raccoon City, and aside from Lily Gal, I'm good. I don't need it.
Now, do you hope to see Ada in the new movie coming out?
Yes. However, I feel like a lot of people don't actually understand her character, so I hope she's done justice.
Yeah. Well, I think the director said that he made all of the cast actually play the games, and he's driving the source material directly from them and everything. So, I mean, this could be a turning point for Resident Evil movies. We'll see.
Are you talking about the one where they're starting from Resident Evil 0?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have hope because I really loved Barbarian. I always tell everybody who has not seen Barbarian is probably the best Resident Evil movie not called Resident Evil. There's no zombies in it, but the getting chased by a creature. That's what the movie
it's like claustrophobic feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, Joe, you gotta see this movie. This feels like Resident Evil. And then when I found out that that this guy's gonna do the next one, I'm like, all right, I'm on board. But if this fails, forget it. We're done.
Yeah.
And
I will give Welcome to Raccoon City. I never say this, but I will give it one thing: their set pieces were amazing, but everything else fell short of what I mean. Almost, I would say that was almost an insult to walk into. Because they did my boy Leon so bad.
Assassination for Leon for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
And as far as the Paul Anderson films go, I have a feeling that most of that was to propel Mila Jovovich's career, which is his wife. It's like he was basically saying, "Hey, look how hot my wife is," you know.
He married her after the first movie.
Yeah.
So, see, I defend those movies. I will say this. I think the first 3 Paul Anderson movies are genuinely good.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones, they got carried away. But for me, they're entertaining enough. I just think they're not good movies. They're just entertainment. But I think the first 3 movies, Resident Evil Apocalypse, and Resident Evil, what was the third one? Extinction. Yeah. Those are the 3 best ones. I just think Extinction's where they kind of got carried away, but after that, it was way too far out there. But
the only thing I will give it after that is they had a hell of a cast for Wesker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jill.
And
Jill's my favorite character. So I guess that's a good transition. We all know, obviously, Ada's absolutely your character, the one that you identify with clearly, and so she's most prominent in Resident Evil. I mean, well, yeah, she's in Resident Evil 2, but Resident Evil 4 mainly. But what like gravitates you to like Ada in the games?
So I actually was told long before I played a Resident Evil game that I should cosplay her. People were pretty much ever since I cut my hair. People were like, "You should look like Ada from Resident Evil. You look like Ada Wong from Resident Evil." And I favorite color long beforehand, but I didn't start like solely committing to it and making my brand until a couple years ago. But anytime I was wearing like anything red, people would be like, "You look like Ada Wong from Resident Evil." And I looked up like her pictures of her, and like Resident Evil was still like very much popular, but Resident Evil 6 had come out in 2013 and it wasn't very well received. So at that point, like Resident Evil, not so much like as a whole, but like that part of the series had kind of faded onto the back burner, because once Resident Evil 5 came out, like Resident Evil 7 came out, Ada was not in the series. She was supposed to be in 8, but we got robbed of that. But I think also not to like, I don't want to get too into this, just because if I get too deep into it, 1, we'll be here forever. 2, I might ruffle a few feathers. It's about and as an Asian woman, we don't get that much representation. We get a lot more now, but at the time, like especially growing up, there wasn't a whole lot there. And I pretty much would take what I could get. And here we have a strong female character who is, yes, she's like an anti-hero, but still a strong female character who happens to be Asian, and it's not like a central part of who she is. It's just she just happens to be, and that's the kind of representation that I had kind of always been looking for. So of course there's so much more now, but at the time, because I think the first time I was ever told I looked like her, I think I was only like 19, 20. I was like, okay, I can get behind this. And I'd watched a couple playthroughs, but I didn't actually pick up a Resident Evil game until 2020.
Not to mention she's a badass femme fatale, so.
That's like, if you can see like the artwork that's behind me.
Yeah.
That's exactly the type of woman that I look for. Mm-hmm. I'm reading the chat here just to make sure I'm not missing it.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, so.
So I actually liked Li Bingbing as Ada Wong. I thought she looked beautiful as her. I am a little annoyed that I have nothing against Sally Cahill. I was a little like, I understand that some people say that like she was harder to understand, but if you listen to the original audio, I think she sounds fine speaking English, but they had Sally Cahill dub over her just to make it easier to understand. So, but I think she did a good job. I enjoyed her as Ada. I get told that I look like her, and I'm like, we definitely don't look alike. You guys literally only say that because I'm
Now, we got the biggest, this is a question that's often debated amongst us Resident Evil fans, so I just want to hear your opinion. Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 4?
4.
Okay.
Remake or original?
Original.
Oh, all right.
I think that's one of those things where you had to be growing up playing 4 to be full on 4. If you're like me, where I grew up playing the original version of 2, that was like the first game I was actually 100% into as a kid. It's like 2 can do no wrong in my view.
I will say I have nothing against it. I'm just saying if I had to pick between the 2, I would pick the original.
Oh, no, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
But I will say this, and I'm with Joe. I'm a Resident Evil 2 guy because we're old men here. I will say this: when Resident Evil 4 first came out, and when you found out Ada survived, I was like, yes, because Jill's my favorite character, but Ada's my second favorite female. Resident Evil 3 is my all-time favorite, so that's why I love Jill. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I said short-haired badass women. It just means you have good taste.
Oh, well, thank you.
And don't get me wrong, Leon is my guy, but I liked him better as rookie cop than as the badass Secret Service guy.
It's been a huge debate on Twitter lately. People are like, okay, ACAB includes Leon. I'm like, he was a cop for like a day and a half. Leave him alone.
Yeah. And he did well that day. Come on.
Yeah. Blake, disregard that.
The only thing I'm kind of like frustrated with right now, and again, we'll know soon. We hear Code Veronica's getting remade, Zero's getting remade. Obviously, Zero's coming because of the movie. I think they're gonna try to line it up. But we're getting Resident Evil 9. The first rumor was Leon and Jill as the mains, and I'm like, yes, let's fucking go. Jill's back. Now I'm hearing no Jill, just Leon. I'm like, no, what are you doing? We just had Leon, we just had the remake. We just had, come on. So
I feel like the Resident Evil women have been getting shafted lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really wish, because I think when it comes to Resident Evil movies, the animated movies are probably the best because they're all like video game cutscenes. Like the whole movie is one big cutscene.
I guess that's one I should have mentioned earlier. I really want to do her outfit from Damnation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think now that they did Death Island and everything, it's like, why would you not capitalize that and make a game out of these animated films? You know what I mean?
Because you could tap into both like your OG audience and new audiences.
Exactly.
Whole new group of people who obviously the majority of people know what Resident Evil is. They've heard of it.
And the biggest issue with Capcom is that their teams, they have so many teams and they're all split up on different projects, so it's kind of hard to get a relative idea together for one specific game. That's why I think the remakes do so well, because they already have the source material to go off of. When you're trying to make something new, they have to go from ground zero and build it all the way up with several teams that are already working in the background, so they're already stretched thin.
Yeah, I agree. I remember when I first was saying, like, okay, well, since we've gotten, the Resident Evil, 2 and 3 remakes already, we're going to get a Resident Evil 4 remake. I was saying this back in, late 2020 and early 2021. People were like, no, that's probably not going to happen. OG Resident Evil 4 is already, great. So, they're not going to remake that. You don't know what you're talking about. I want everyone who said that to me to apologize to me, because I was right.
And I have to address this. Miguel in here says, don't believe too deep in the leaks because we need to wait on official word from Capcom. He's right, because 90% of these leaks are coming from Dusk Golem, and Dusk Golem, not only is he a leaker, but he is a known troll when it comes to Capcom.
Hopefully, I feel we will get Resident Evil 9 next year. It won't be this year because they would have announced it by now. But I think we will get we get Resident Evil 9 early next year, and I think Resident Evil 0 will come out right when the new movie comes out next September. So I think we're getting 2 Resident Evil games next year. I really think so.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is just, when are we getting the announcement? Because it could come at any of these conventions. We got a lot of them coming up.
That's true.
I think we'll get a Capcom showcase. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of Capcom showcase coming up. We have the Xbox Games showcase in June 8th.
Yep, we still got Summer Games Fest to go through. So
absolutely.